All right, guys, so we got to talk about Charlamagne the God, a.k.a. Charlamagne, because I told myself I'm going to stop using the God part of his name just because I feel like it's weird to say that part, even though I know why he actually uses that part of his name, but I still think it's weird to say. We've been talking about Charlamagne lately because he's been making some sense, right? The last time we talked about him, he basically seemed to be having somewhat of a red pill moment, even though he's not really gonna swallow the red pill because I don't know, these guys are obsessed with Democrats, thinking that Democrats are actually gonna save them. But he said, where's Trump, right, in response to a question about, you know, what is Biden doing, right? Specifically, what is Biden doing for black people and why he's not fulfilling his promises that he's made to not just black people but to America in general, right? I mean, he's really messing up, right? He's messing up so much that even the woke revolutionaries like Charlemagne are starting to come out and ask a whole lot of questions, right? But again, for whatever reason, these people never actually act on these things they know when it comes to voting. But once again, Charlemagne is making some sense, right? As he has surprisingly defended Joe Rogan in his use of the N-word, even going as far as to say that Joe Rogan is in fact not racist. But before we get into that, I just want to let you guys know, if you like what I do, if you want to support my channel, the links in description below are how you do that, right? So if you want to support, check out the links in the description below. You can support the merch, you can support the PayPal, you can support the Patreon. There are multiple ways to support if you would like to support, and I appreciate each and every last one of you that have supported thus far. So without further ado, let's play this soundbite from the Breakfast Club, in which him and the other hosts on the Breakfast Club are going to discuss this Joe Rogan situation, and I'll give you guys my opinions after that. Take a look.
I mean, listen, if you've been in this business long enough as a broadcaster, you said something stupid. You said something that would be deemed problematic at some point, but when those things come back up, what can you do?
You gotta apologize and take accountability for.
Like I always say, you can't tell folks what to be mad at. Like, just because your intent wasn't malicious or your intent wasn't to offend, we can't tell folks how to react to the words that come out of your mouth. So you just got to deal with whatever comes your way when you say what you want. But I do want to know, what do folks want to happen? Like when these old sound bites come out, right? You know, he apologized for them. What do you want to happen? Because this isn't the first time and won't be the last time, you know, we hear a white person using the N-word in context, out of context, quoting rappers, quoting comedians, whatever it is. So what do you want to happen next?
With just Joe Rogan or in general?
Joe Rogan or just in general? Because this can happen to anybody at any given time if you've been in this business long enough. Broadcaster, rapper, comedian.
Like you said, you can't control how people react. So you work for a private company. They're going to make the decision ultimately on what they decide to do. So they pulled some of the episodes, but they're still standing by him. And I think
they should, because they knew all of this was before he even did the deal. So they knew that.
And then people have a right to be offended. I'm going to be honest, I've never listened to an episode of Joe Rogan ever.
I have. I listen to Joe Rogan
know you have, but
all the time.
I haven't. So it's hard for me to say an opinion on somebody who I've never.
Yeah,
and that's the other thing.
I don't listen to too many. I've listened a couple of times, but also I don't know him. You know what I mean? And the people that seem like they know him say he's not a racist, say he's a good dude. So, I mean, what do you stand by?
I don't know him personally. I met him twice. You know what I mean? But I don't think he's racist. I've done his show. I met him at my man Andrew Schultz's wedding. I don't think he's a racist.
But can you say racist things and not be racist?
But I do think it's wild that if you look at like Joe Rogan and then you say, okay, well they just scrubbed his old episodes, and
some
then
of them, not a lot. There's a lot of episodes.
Then you look at somebody like Whoopi Goldberg who gets suspended for 2 weeks.
Hold on, you said something that's very important just now.
Can
you say racist things and not be racist? Depending, right? Because you can say a slur, right? You can say a gay slur and not be homophobic, be homo ignorant.
Correct.
Because a lot of times when we used to use that gay slur back in the day, it wasn't in reference to somebody's sexuality, right?
That's true. That's
you
facts.
know? So yeah.
So I mean, what Charlamagne said there, I think I agree with 100%, right? And that may be the first time that I've heard Charlamagne say something in which I'm like, oh yeah, I agree with that basically 100%. Probably the first time, right? And the point that he's making is true, right? Like, listen, if you are in the business of talking for a living, right, kind of like I am right now, okay, yeah, you're gonna say something stupid. You're going to say something that people can take out of context or even in context that people are going to listen to and say, hey, you know what? I don't necessarily know if I agree with that, right? I'm not necessarily sure if I would have said something like that, what you said. might have been out of line. It might have been stupid. It might have been, X, Y, and Z. And I am sure there's no doubt in my mind that Charlamagne is saying this because he said some stupid things in the past, or some things that we could deem to be racist, particularly things about white people that you could deem to be racist. I mean, a lot of these talking heads, particularly the black ones in media, they say a whole bunch of racist stuff all the time, right? It's just in 2022, they can get away with it. But in 2040, will they be able to get away with it? Who knows, right? You see what I'm saying here? So this guy, thinking forward is like, hey, you know what? I've said some things in the past that are pretty controversial. Not just about race, but some other things Charlamagne has said I'm not really going to get into. Yeah, I don't want Joe Rogan to be canceled because, again, those are the same people that will probably end up canceling him, okay? Right? But what Charlamagne is saying is that, okay, well, what then, right? Well, what do you actually want to happen? What do you want to happen to Joe Rogan, right? Just because he said something that you didn't like. And the answer, again, and I think that question that he's asking is the perfect question. Because a lot of these people, CNN, the media, what they really want is just Joe Rogan to be silenced, right? But Joe Rogan can't be silenced. Like Dave Chappelle, he can't be silenced, right? They're not Alex Jones, right? To the point where you can push them all the way to the far corners of the internet. And, the people that know Alex Jones know how to find him, but it's not like, you're going to see Alex Jones popping up, on, random videos on YouTube, anything like that, right? But that you can't do that with Joe Rogan, okay? Because Joe Rogan is not that far, right? He's not that far, okay? So what do you want to happen? Because you can take Joe Rogan off of Spotify, but you got Rumble lined up saying, hey, look, we'll pay you $100 million, right? And if that's not enough, we might pay you more to host your videos exclusive on our platform, okay? That's how capitalism works. So again, you can't silence the guy. Right? If you didn't have Rumble, I'm pretty sure YouTube would happily take Joe Rogan back, right? And not just that, Joe Rogan could probably start his own platform, okay? Which, honestly, in my opinion, that's kind of what I want him to do. I want him to start his own platform, okay? And he would probably make more money doing that. So you really can't cancel the man. So, again, the question is, what do you actually want to happen to him? But the next part of the conversation that I found to be fascinating, that I kind of 100% agree with, is the idea that just because you say something that may sound racist or may be racist, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're racist. I mean, first and foremost, again, in context, Joe Rogan using the N-word, he didn't say it in a way that was derogatory or racist. Some people say that the Planet of Apes thing was racist, but again, me listening to it in full context, I'm like, dude ain't saying anything any worse than what anybody else has said, right? In reference to being in the hood, okay? He hasn't said anything worse than that. But regardless, that doesn't necessarily mean that you are a racist. And the example that they brought up on, this conversation, with Charlamagne the God was homophobic slurs, or what people deem to be homophobic slurs, right? You guys remember growing up in school. I'm not actually sure all you guys remember this, but, being in school, people used to say stuff like, oh, that's gay, right? Like, in reference to things that you don't like, right? Or that you don't necessarily approve of. You'd be like, oh, that's gay. Okay? That didn't necessarily mean you was homophobic. That didn't mean that you didn't like the LGBTQ community. That didn't even mean that you weren't gay, right? I mean, there's people who are gay that would say, oh, that's gay, right? Something that they don't like, okay? And that's just how the word was used. Again, it doesn't mean that you're homophobic. That's just the way people talk. That's just what people said, right? But if the woke mob really wants to cancel people over things they've said in the past that may sound racist or be deemed to be homophobic in 2022, then I really don't understand for the life of me, why are they not calling to cancel Joe Biden, right? I already played a clip of Joe Biden saying the N-word in the past in a similar context that Joe Rogan used the N-word. But for fun, let's play some clips of Joe Biden saying something that in 2022 would probably be deemed homophobic. Take a look.
Let's try to avoid nuance, Senator. Do you support gay marriage?
No. Barack Obama nor I support redefining from a civil side what constitutes marriage. We do not support.
The president used his radio address yesterday and tomorrow in the Rose Garden to talk about a constitutional amendment to ban gay marriage.
Think about this. The world's going to Hades in a handbasket. We are desperately concerned about the circumstance relating to avian flu, we don't have enough vaccines, we don't have enough police officers, and we're going to debate the next 3 weeks, I'm told, gay marriage, a flag amendment, and God only knows what else. I can't believe the American people can't see through this. We already have a law, the Defense of Marriage Act, where we've all voted, not where I voted and others said, look, marriage is between a man and a woman, and states must respect that. Nobody's violated that law. There's been no challenge to that law. Why do we need a constitutional amendment? Marriage is between a man and a woman. What's the game going on here?
Yeah. So that is Joe Biden, probably during the early 2000s, okay, mid 2000s, saying something that probably would deem to be homophobic today. Okay, if you say that marriage is between one man and one woman, which a lot of people still believe today, particularly conservative people, religious folks still believe that, and that is okay. People have the right to believe that. But I'm just saying, right? You get where I'm coming from here. Should Joe Biden be canceled over that, right? Should Joe Biden be canceled over saying the N-word? Okay, because he said some things that, again, in 2022 can be deemed to be homophobic or racist, right? So we should cancel him, right? He should be impeached, right? He shouldn't be able to be president, according to the mob and according to mainstream liberal news, right? So, all that is to say that, I'm happy that Charlamagne actually came out and said this. And I hope that, the mob doesn't come after him too hard for this. And even if they do come after him too hard for it, I hope that Charlamagne stands his ground. Because we've seen what happened with The Rock. We've seen what happened with Andrew Yang, right? And anybody that basically comes out, anybody mainstream that comes out and defends Joe Rogan, the mob comes after them and all of a sudden they're saying, oh, I'm sorry for defending Joe Rogan, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's what they say, right? So I wonder how the mob is going to react to this, because I'm pretty sure people have heard Charlamagne say this, right? But it's because Charlamagne black. Does he have a pass to give Joe Rogan an excuse, right? I wonder how that works. Okay, and that's part of the reason why I've talked about this so much. Why I'm kind of highlighting this and highlighting black people who are coming out here and defending Joe Rogan, because I really do believe in my heart of hearts that most black people don't give a damn about Joe Rogan using the N-word. They don't care. But the mainstream liberal media and the woke revolutionaries that make money off of pushing black victimhood, they're going to make it seem like the worst thing in the world, right? When at the end of the day, what they're really trying to do is get views and clicks, okay, and make money, particularly the woke revolutionaries, people like India Irie that are coming out here acting like it's the worst thing in the world. She's really trying to get paid, right? She already told you she's trying to get paid in her initial video about this. And the mainstream liberal media, they're doing the bidding of the Democrat Party, okay, and Big Pharma, and trying to silence Joe Rogan, right? So that's what's happening here. But the actual people that they say are offended by this, every time you look, they're saying, hey, we're not really offended by this. We really don't care, right? We really don't care. And Charlamagne is just another black person that have come out and said the same thing, okay? So again, if the mob comes out to Charlamagne for this, which they might, who knows, I hope he doesn't back down. I hope he sticks to what he's saying. Because what he's saying here, in a rare instance, he is correct, right? And it goes to show, I think people like Charlamagne, sometimes, they can't see the light. And it also shows that this cancel culture and the mob culture that we have going on in this country and the attacks on free speech is going too far. It is going way too far. It's getting to the point now where even those people who are liberal, right, the people that are supposed to be on their side are like, I don't agree with this, right? I don't think this is right. And I think that this is making a whole lot of people who otherwise would not identify as conservative, identify as, maybe I'm a conservative. If being conservative means not being pro-censorship, right? If conservative means being pro-free speech, okay, and not silencing dissenting opinions, maybe I'm a conservative, right? That is what we're seeing happening in this country right now, in my opinion. Right? Not saying that Charlamagne would ever come out and say he's conservative, but I'm just saying that's something that I picked up on. Jordan Peterson had tweeted about that. The woke mob has made this man, be like, hey, maybe I am a conservative. Okay. And I've heard that from a whole lot of people, not just him. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.